Joining me now is Clive Aldridge, who for many years has worked with people suffering from dementia. Clive, thank you for joining me. What are the first signs of dementia and how easy or difficult is it to get a diagnosis?
I was speaking recently to a gentleman and asked him that question. And he said he was in the garden and his wife came out and said, "What would you like for tea?" And after about an hour, he said, "I wonder what's taking." And he went into the kitchen and she couldn't remember how to make scrambled eggs. And that was the first indication. So, a poor memory, a failing memory, is perhaps an indication that you need to get things checked.
But as you say, as you get older, your memory becomes less reliable. So where do you draw that line between what is just simply a sign of getting older and something more serious?
Well, there are memory, particularly on things like time. So, for instance, if somebody was up at 3 o'clock in the morning, getting ready to go to work, perhaps doing something that they really did some time ago, then that would be an indication that there's something wrong.
What's the difference between dementia and Alzheimer's?
Well, Alzheimer's is a form of dementia. There's several different forms. And the main thing to know about dementia is that there are perhaps 5 stages. So at the initial stages, you may be just mildly forgetful. But it is a degenerative disease, and at its worst, you would be perhaps in your own little world, you wouldn't recognize people, you wouldn't be able to communicate. And so it's very difficult for the partner in those circumstances.
What can be done, therefore, once you've got a diagnosis, what can be done to slow that degenerative process down? Can anything be done? Does medication work?
I would say no. There is no cure. It could all happen quite quickly, could happen within a year. So at the moment, we don't have the knowledge, we don't know enough to know about that.
I read in the paper sometimes, there's sort of these minor breakthroughs and they tell you to a 10, 20-minute walk twice a day can help against fight dementia, or you doing the crossword, keeping the mind busy. I mean, do those things help, or is that
Obviously doing things and doing what you can, and sometimes people fight it. And I don't think it's a bad idea. For instance, if you've got a hobby and something that to concentrate and do that. There isn't any cure at the present time.
So this condition, and it's a dreadful condition.
Yes.
That hasn't changed. There is no cure at the present time. How has care changed? Is that getting better?
I think care has changed considerably. And this applies to general care, not just people with a dementia. And that is that people in a care home should be as independent as possible. Now, I know that you were talking to Karen about activities and things like that. But an activity for a person, particularly with a dementia, could be hoovering, could be dusting, could be doing something that they would be doing if they were back in their own home. And so in a good home, they would be encouraged to do that as much as possible. And that really is the key to it. You've got to encourage people to maintain their independence.
And what about support financially? Are there benefits and things like that people can investigate?
If you have more than £23,250 in income and capital, you will be paying for the care. That's in the process of changing at the present time. There's a new care bill which is about to come into effect. It actually will take effect in April next year and completely by April 2015. And that will change where the floor of 23,000 actually it goes up to 118,500, which is quite an important increase. And also there will be a cap of 72,000 on the amount that you have to pay for care, which is important because at the present time, if you've spent your life building up some investments for your retirement and you own a home, and you end up in a care home, then that will be sold, that will be taken into account to pay for the care.